Good morning guys, and a special welcome back to the ASN Beach Body Challenges. It's day 4 of the challenge, so that initial momentum should have you pretty much still going, lots of motivation. I'm sipping on my OxyShred Carnitine RX this morning, and then we're off to the gym. It's time to train some shoulders, so I'll bring you along and show you my workout.
What's up guys? Before I have my shoulder workout, I want to go through some basic anatomy of the shoulder and try and just explain why I do the things I do, why I do my warm-up, and why I choose particular exercises. So what I've got for you here is just a real quick knock up of your shoulder, anterior and posterior, and if you're not aware of what those terms are, it just means from the front and from the rear here. So your main parts of the shoulder, obviously you've got bones first. You've got your clavicle, or your collarbone as it's commonly known. The clavicle here connects to your scapula posteriorly. Your scapula is this big sort of bony structure that sits posteriorly in your body. And then you've got the humerus, and that's the bone of the upper arm, which sits in this ball and socket joint in your shoulder. So the ball and socket joint of your shoulder allows your arm to move in 3 different ways. So sideways, you've got flexion, which is raising your arm, extension, which is lowering your arm, and then hyperextension is raising the arm towards the back. You've got your adduction, which from an arm out front. Adduction is bringing the arm into the body, and abduction is raising the arm above that parallel. And then finally you've got rotation. So if you have your elbow here, that's neutral position. You can rotate towards the midline, or you can rotate laterally. And that's combining those movements up and down and back to front. That's where the rotation of the ball and socket joint comes in, and that's how our shoulder moves through the planes and through the axes. So coming back to our picture here, it's important that we warm up our shoulders because of these what's known as the rotator cuff muscles. And I'm sure you've heard of people having rotator cuff injuries previously. But what is your rotator cuff? Well, it's made up of 4 main muscles. So you've got your supraspinatus, which is the smaller muscle here that connects at the top of the humerus and then connects at this process anteriorly on the scapula. And it's responsible for keeping your arm stable and lifting your arm. You've got the subscapularis, which is the larger muscle here that attaches onto the scapula itself and attaches back onto the humerus, which is responsible for helping you rotate your arm, helping you hold it straight and helping you to lower it. And then posteriorly, you've got the infraspinatus, which is this large muscle here that connects onto the back, onto the posterior of the scapula, and then again up onto the posterior of the humerus. And then you've got the smallest muscle of the rotator cuffs, which is the teres minor, which sort of runs underneath the infraspinatus and attaches back up to the humerus there. So that's those muscles there, the 4 muscles there make up your rotator cuff. So when we talk about warming up our rotator cuff, that's what we're trying to target. And the best way to target your rotator cuff muscles is using a lightweight or the lightest band you can find in the gym and doing the following exercises that I'm about to show you.
So with your band at about elbow height, stand with your elbow tucked in close to your body. You want to pull the band towards your midline, so across your body, nice and controlled, and then just resist the band as it comes back laterally. You want to do about 30 reps on each side of this one, depending on how tight your shoulders actually are. If you feel any pain doing this, I recommend you go see a doctor because you've probably got some impingement issues. So the next one we're going to do here is with your elbow out to the side, so your upper arm's parallel to the floor. You're just going to be pulling back on the band and rotating your arm up and back. Again, 20 to 30 reps each side on this one. The last exercise that we're going to do are what's called shoulder dislocations, and you want about 30 reps here, just like that.
So now we've warmed up the stabilizing muscles of our shoulder, it's time to get into the workout proper. So the main muscle that you'll be working during the shoulder workout is the deltoid. The deltoid, common misconception, it's actually only one muscle with 3 origin points and 1 insertion point. So that's what I've got down here. So you can see your anterior deltoid attaches to your clavicle. Your lateral deltoid attaches to your acromion process, which is this point up here of your scapula, and then your posterior deltoid attaches to the spine of the scapula, and they all insert down into the deltoid tuberosity on the humerus. So that's the main muscle that you're going to be working when you train shoulders. And as I go through the workout, I'll explain which exercise is targeting sort of what head of that deltoid. The other muscle you need to be focusing on in your shoulder workout is your traps, your trapezius muscle, which is the muscle that sits there. And as you can see, it's quite a large muscle. From this posterior drawing here, you can see that not only does it run up into the neck and attach to the spine there, but it also runs down the spine as well, and it's actually quite large posteriorly, but anteriorly you can only really see this little bit here. And you train those using your upright rows and your shrugs. So now hopefully you know a little bit more about shoulder anatomy. I'm going to take you through my workout, do a walkover of what we're doing and what muscle groups we're attempting to grow with each exercise. So I hope you enjoy it.
So you can see the first exercise that we're going to be doing here is the standing barbell press. Just warming up with the empty barbell, just getting our movement right, just making sure the shoulders feel good. You can see here I'm not using my legs at all to push the bar, but there is a slight bit of sway as the bar comes up and my head sort of pokes through that window here. So with my barbell press, I did 4 sets of 4 reps with 40 kilos. So the next time I do this exercise, I'll be trying to either add weight or add reps. And in this case, it'll be add reps until I can get 4 by 6. The next exercise that I moved into was a seated dumbbell shoulder press. My progression was it was basically one giant drop set. So I started with a really heavy weight, did about 8 reps, and then I dropped that down each set and did 6 sets in total. I think I finished on 10 kilo for about 15 reps. It really burns the shoulders out. So the previous 2 movements work anterior, lateral, and posterior heads of the delt. Now we get into some specific work. So I'm doing some lateral raises here just to try and isolate the lateral heads. The next movement is a bent over cable rear delt fly, and this will hit that posterior head of the deltoid. Last movement we're going to do for the day are some face pulls. So the face pulls again are a rear delt exercise, but they're also really good for those rotator cuff muscles that we were talking about before, keeping them nice and healthy. So we're going to do about 12 reps of the face pulls, and then immediately we're going to superset into some upright rows using the rope as well. The upright rows are going to be our trapezius exercise for the day, so trying to work on our traps, build that trap muscle up and get some nice definition running from the shoulder to the neck. Tip with these, just keep your elbows nice and high. So that's my full workout there. Feel free to screenshot that and try it for yourself. Best of luck on the challenge. Remember, train hard, eat clean, and I'll catch you in the next one.